Hello friends, welcome back. Welcome to My Hobby Home. My name is Cathy. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to be working our Fat Quarter Shop flowering block today. Now I'm really excited about this block because it does use half square triangles and lots of them. So the fabrics that I am using for this block, I am using, let's see, this is the Old Glory. I had some of this left from my land that I love, and I'm like, perfect for background for this quilt. And then these two colors are Camille Ross Kelly. I believe it's called Sunnyside. And the yellow is from the line Tango. This is a fat quarter that I won at the Miss Ava's baby shower. So what I am using in our box, we did get it's an air erasing sew line pen. Now I am going to tell y'all, I was worried about it because as I started marking my fabrics, I did get a call from my daughter. Her car, it broke down but didn't break down. There was a little malfunction in it. She just had a motor put in it about 2 months ago, and one of the motor brackets or something that holds the motor up broke. Her motor fell down in her car and she was stuck. She's at home sick today with, let's see, let me start pulling fabrics and start sewing. So we're going to do our yellow, and I'm going to just give you guys a pointer when I do half square triangles. I always go up a little bit in size. So if you're at an inch, you know, say you have to cut 5-inch squares, cut them at 5 1/4, just to be on the safe side. Anyway, what I was telling you about the pen, I had to stop right in the middle of marking my lines. Now, I was worried that they were going to disappear, because, you know, it says air erasable. And they are lighter. They are lighter. But they're not disappeared. So that is what I was worried about when I went to help her. She had the back of her car. She did a grocery pickup because she's at home sick. And she was like, she had no groceries, and this is what she normally does. She already had it scheduled, so she had to go pick her groceries up. And so I went and got her. And when I come back, and I mean, they are very light, but they're not gone. I didn't have to remark them. So we are good with that. What we're going to be doing is making 16 half square triangles, which means we'll be using 8 of each piece. So if you ever, just by these patterns that I've gotten in my sew sampler, I have realized, because if you cut, like we only cut 8 of these, but say you had to cut 16 of these to go with something else, you want to make sure, if the pattern says cut 16 half square triangles, realize it's only 8 that you'll be using. And when I'm sewing this, I'm also sewing it on the inside of that line. You know how people say do a scant quarter? Well, I'm sewing on the inside of that line because the tip of that pen is a little thicker than what I normally use. So it does bump you away from your ruler just a little bit. And that way your square's not coming out too small. But I am sewing these just on the inside of the line, and I'll show you what I mean. Well, you may not be able to see these lines on this one, but I'll sew on the end closer to the center. And even if I didn't have, even if it wasn't like that, I always sew on the inside of that closer towards the center, because I can always trim off if it's too big, but you can never add on if it's too small. But welcome to, this is our finishing Friday. I know several of you may be hoping to see the craftsman completed and bound, but that has not happened yet. I haven't even been able to pull it out. So, it is what it is. There is still hope that that will be completed this month. I know next weekend is our last weekend of August, so that doesn't give me much time to finish up what I've got going on. And so that means I have a craftsman that needs to be bound, and that's all that needs to be done on it, is bound. And I know that's fast and simple. I have to get my craftsman, I have to get my binding fabric, cut it down, press it out, and all that. And I know most people would be like, but that's easy, that's quick and easy. It is quick and easy, but I'm having to pull it out of this box, and right now I don't know that I have the bandwidth to deal with something that I have to struggle with to keep it on my table. I don't know that I have that today. But my goal is still, we have the unnamed UFO that I'm calling the Fa La La. And then we have the Bella Rose, which I finally got all of the 4 patches done. I just need to press them. They're over here on my ironing station waiting on me to do that. And then, so I have those 2 that I'm really working on. And I was hoping, okay, so we have all of our yellows done, so let's see what else we'll do. I think I have more. I'll make 16, and then, okay, all of these are half square triangles. So let's just keep sewing these like this. We'll go from one color to the next. And I'm just doing the one side right now. I am sewing 1/4 of an inch away from the center line to make the 16 of each fabric, half square triangle. But I am still in the hopes of having at least the No Name Fa La La done, and a lot closer on the Bella Rose. Merry Christmas. I'm hoping to get closer on that. Oh, and I still need to put my borders on my woodruff. So that I will need to get on that, so I can get that to my local quilt shop. It's not in my budget because I've had an unexpected expense for this within this payroll period. And being that Miss Dava was on the ball and got that other quilt done so fast, I'm not going to carry the other one to her yet, because I don't want her to do work and me not have it in my budget. But I had an unexpected expense where I will be traveling out of town. It's not that I didn't know this was coming up. It was just I didn't know I was going to have to get I anticipated having to get an Airbnb. And it looks like I may be the only one going to the Airbnb. I thought my sister might be going with me, but it looks like she may not be, because she's having a grandbaby. But I'm going to my grandbaby's birthday party. And I found out they're going to have a few more people staying at their house. And so I'm just went ahead and got an Airbnb. Okay, now this line on this one here is hard to see. So if you're not getting right on it, I would say for this sew line air erasable. Oh, don't turn it that way. on the Soline Air Erasable. If you're not going to use it like immediately, and I was probably gone from my house well over an hour, hour and a half, because we had to wait for the tow truck to come pick her car up. So it's been, you know, a couple of hours since I first started marking them, and those lines are really light. Some of them you can barely see. But we're going to get this sewed up today. I'm so excited for a block that is nothing but half square triangles. And like I said, my pointer or tip for half square triangles is cut your fabric just a little bit bigger than it needs to be. I mean, I try to go about 1/4 of an inch more than what it needs to be, because I'm smashing my stash with this. I did not get the fabric bundle that came with this quilt along. I am smashing my stash, and I did not realize that some of these fabrics that I started grabbing until I looked were Camille Ross Kelly's, and the fabric bundle that they have for this quilt along is Camille Ross Kelly fabrics. So I may not have the same design, but a lot of times, you know, creators, they have the same colors, but it just may be different designs. And I love these burgundies and pinks and wine color. I just love them. But with this all being half square triangles, we can chain stitch it. You know, once I finish these, I'll trim them apart, and then I will sew on the other line. And once I get them sewed on the other line, I will trim them apart again. And then what I will do is trim them down to the size that they're supposed to be and press them out. Y'all won't see all of that. But then we will have, let's see, 24, we will have 24, so 48 half square triangles. I think that's what it is. I can look to see, because it's like 16, 16, and 16. Yeah, it's 48. And if y'all do have square triangles, y'all realize it does take a little time to cut them apart, trim them up, and press them out. I always like to press out my half square triangles just to make sure everything looks good, but I will press them before I trim them. I think I said that in backwards order of, you know, cut them apart, and then I think I said trim and then press. No, I'm going to press it and then trim it. And when I press, I do press with Best Press, just to make sure I have a good sharp press on it. Now this is our last square here. Now what I'm going to do is just cut these apart and then start sewing on the other line. And I know some people are able to do this without marking that line. If you can, that's great. It's not necessary, but I'm giving you a beginner's point of view because I have to have the line. And sometimes I still can't get them right because I can't sew a straight line apparently. But with these, we have some smaller squares here, and I think I had to do 16 of those. Yes, I had to do 16 of the smaller squares. And guys, I want to let y'all know, I have had someone express, you know, that it would be great if they could see on my table while I'm cutting. If I have a paid for pattern, I can't show the cutting because I have a cutting mat, and you can tell the inches on that. And you know, just out of respect for the designer, I don't want to I don't want to give away their pattern technically. And some people are savvy enough to figure that out, you know, what a pattern is, and I just don't want to do that. I think you can see enough of my table like this. And I know sometimes I don't even show my table, like the Fa La La quilt. I will not show the table. You will only see this. Let's see, the Bella Ray. I won't show my table on those either. But this one here, you're not going to see anything on the table because I don't bring you guys along for the trimming or the cutting of the fabric. Just because I don't want, you know, I don't want to jeopardize a pattern. Now, next week, I was telling y'all that I have an Airbnb for, it's my grandbaby's second birthday. I need to get her birthday card in the mail. I need to get her birthday card in the mail so she'll get it on her actual birthday. Two years old. It's like, where has the time gone? I was doing YouTube when she was born. I had just started. I was in my first year of YouTube when she was born. So I actually recorded videos in Kentucky when she was born from the Airbnb. And who knows, I may do a little short at the Airbnb because the one that I saw is beautiful. Oh, this line is hard to see. But I may do that. I may do a real quick shopping haul on the way up there because when I go stay in an Airbnb, I like to carry my own food. And I think they're doing pizza for her birthday. And I don't know if my daughter, my daughter and my grandson are supposed to go stay overnight with my son and daughter-in-law for the birthday. They're having a sleepover with the grandbabies. And I think their dad, my children's dad, is going to be staying there too. So I went on and just got an Airbnb because it's going to be a lot of people in that little apartment. So now I'm going to just trim these apart, and then I will cut through the 2 stitch lines to make 16 of each color block. And we will be right back after I do that, press and trim up the blocks to the size they need to be, and then we'll be assembling the block. To say, I call everything a block. These are squares. The end result will be a block. So y'all hang with me, and I'll be back. You know, YouTube magic, it's only going to be a couple seconds, but in real world, it's probably going to be more like 30 minutes. Probably not. Hopefully not. But I'll be right back. Okay, we are now back. And guys, I'm going to tell you, I just had to stop recording after 30 minutes of pressing and trimming. It took me, I'm going to say, about 20 minutes each of each color. So an hour. An hour, guys. I don't even know what time it is because I feel like I may be running out of time for y'all. So let's just get started. The first step, we're going to take our yellows, and look at there, I'm matching, aren't I? We're going to take our yellows and make a pinwheel. And it looks like, yep, there. So we're just going to take 2 and nest that seam that goes through the center. And y'all, I don't believe the pressing did not make that line go away. Oh, I better get that thread. Let me get that foot up because my thread is not going to pull. So I will do, for these, I will make 4. And I'm just going to leave them on here. I will do 4 of the same design here. We're going this way because all it's doing is we're just flipping it, and that will create our block. But I like taking my time when I am trimming out my half square triangles, so my points do come out on the corner, because that way when you nest your seams, they come out a whole lot better when you do that. Because here when I'm nesting these seams, if my points were not at the same place, my fabric would not match up around the edges. But I'm sewing this at 1/4 inch. I think all of these blocks are at 1/4 inch unless otherwise stated. Now I'm hoping this goes pretty quick because this is going to be on all of the blocks that we make. So it's the center pinwheel of each block. But we'll do all of these, and then we'll put 2 of these together, because right now this is just the top row of the pinwheel. So, and guys, I know we were talking about me, let's see, grandbaby's birthday. Well, let's start it right. First thing that happened this morning, I was actually cutting my fabric, getting ready to start recording. It is Friday. It is no longer Friday morning. I was cutting fabric this morning to make this block, and my daughter calls me, and she's like, "Mom, I hate calling you. I know you're recording." And I'm like, what's going on? Because I know she's been sick, and she's homesick today. So I told y'all about the car situation. I had to go pick her and her groceries up, and wait for the tow truck. So we waited for the tow truck, but I picked her up and got her back to her house. And they think they can have it fixed today. If they can't have it done today, they're going to give her a loaner. Because they're the ones that replace the people that the truck was picking her car up for. And carrying it to, they're the ones that put a new motor in the car, and so it's whatever's going on is their problem and their fault. So I had told her, I said, call your granny. Your granny will handle it. Your granny will take care of it. Your granny will get it done for you, because she knows who all to talk to over there, because she lives in that town. She was the one that helped her buy the car. So that's what she did, and her granny called her, and they worked it all out. But I went on and got her groceries, because she didn't even want her car cranked because it was making a loud rattling noise. But so we got the groceries. And I got her and the groceries back to the house, and I'm waiting on her to call me to find out if I need to carry her 45 minutes away to pick her car up, because it's where her dad and granny lives. So far, I don't know if I've heard from her or not. I'm not here. So let's see. We have sewn these 2 together. It does not say how to press them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them all out like this and press them the same direction, because that way when I flip it, it'll be right. So 1 second, and we will be pressed and coming back together and assembling these. So I have our 8 pieces done, and now what I'm having to do is take one and flip it, make sure that's correct, and nest these seams. And guys, I want to give y'all a little bit of information here on this sew line pin now. It is still on the white fabric, and you can see it through the white fabric. Some of it disappeared and some of it has not. I'm hoping that when it's all dry and warm and everything and put together, that line disappears, because it's very purple on these. So I won't be using it on white again. But I mean, it was very smooth putting it together. You know, drawing the lines, it was very smooth doing that. But I am kind of worried now, because it's not disappearing. It's almost like when I pressed it, it made it brighter. Well, when I get this quilt put together, I will have to throw it in the wash just to see if the wash will make that come out, if it's not gone by then. But all I'm doing is just flipping and nesting those 2 center seams. And once we get these done, we'll press this again. So guys, let's get caught back up on what I was telling you. Daughter car situation done, taken care of. Just waiting on her car to be fixed now, and for her to either pick it up or get a rental or a loaner car. Let's see, what's the next thing? I was telling y'all about my grandbaby's birthday and how I'm going to have to get an Airbnb, because there's just going to be too many people there. I found this out this morning while we were sitting there. My daughter was talking to my son, and he told her that their dad is going to try to catch a ride with her, but she's supposed to be riding with me. So I don't know how that's going to happen. It's strictly going to be just family. Last year we had a huge birthday party for her. So this year it's going to be just family. But just family is pretty big. I know my daddy and my aunt would love to go, but they can't make that driving. But anyway, so we have an Airbnb now. And it's going to be interesting. That's all I can say. It's going to be interesting. Okay, so now what we are doing is we're making our rows for our blocks. And the first one, we're going to be using this. So I see I need to sew 2 of these together, but I'm going to just go ahead and make that row. It looks like all of these are going to be sewn. Let me go on and sew these together. These 2 colors that I have left, this one and this one, they're going to be done the same way. You're going to take 2 of them and sew them together like this. And then you're going to place them all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and sew these. Now this does say press open. I just noticed that. I'm not pressing open. And I know they say press open because of the bulkiness. Yeah, I don't. Which I probably should press open, because my pinwheels just look like they didn't do right, but so I'm going to just keep making all of these. Even on the side, I take one of these units that's already sewn together, and I just turn it sideways and sew it to one of the pinwheels. Oops, I need to make sure those edges match up there. So let's see, we've got that, and oh, guys, if you get the Creative Notions box, we did get a message today, or yesterday. It was either today or yesterday, that they are still waiting on one of their fabrics to come in. So the box is not going to ship until mid-September. So it looks like it's getting to the same thing as before. We had a box or two that came in on time, and now we're back to the middle of the next month. So we'll probably be billed for our October box before our September box even goes, before our August box even goes out. And I try to be a patient person, but it's hard. It's hard. When I'm so excited to get that package, it's very hard to be patient. I know I'm not patient even when I'm waiting for the fat quarter shop, and I literally can see on my phone where the delivery truck is at. And that's sad, because I watch the delivery truck, I watch what road he's on, and then when I see him turn back and go, when he's already on my road and I see him turn around and go back to the town he just came out of, I'm like, why are you turning around? I need my box. Because I'm always so excited to be getting those boxes. I mean, that shopping without having to leave your house and getting things that you might not know about. I mean, this month, the one thing I definitely did not know about was the Sew Line marking pen, but I don't think I'll buy any of those. Because, it's still on my fabric, and I need it to go off my fabric. And it says air erasable, and they were, some of them did fade out to where I could barely see the line when I was sewing it. So that's an update on cotton cuts. I'm going to go ahead and do these as well, because we're doing the same thing to them. So that way I can press all of them at the same time. We have been double duty sewing today. We're just doing all the sewing at one time and all the pressing at one time. But I love these colors of this Camille Ross Kelly line that I'm using. Like I said, I think it's called Sunny Side. I think that's what it's called. Beautiful colors. But I am hoping. That's all I can say is I'm hoping that I can, I was telling y'all the quilts that I still have going. I'm hoping to get a quilt finished. Oh, I broke my thread, and I know why it did it. 1 second. Okay, earlier I did something and I pulled the thread and the foot was down, the presser foot was down. I knew that was going to cause my thread to break. Because with Bernina, and probably other machines as well, but I have realized with the Bernina, if the presser foot is down and you pull that thread, those tension plates are still pressed together up in there, and it just doesn't do well for your thread. So that is what happened to that. But it didn't take very long to rethread it. And I think I need to clean my automatic threader. I need to clean that out. And I probably need to replace my needle too, because I've been sewing with this same needle a couple days, and I've been sewing a lot. Thank goodness, I'm loving getting to sew. Y'all, I just noticed I had a pop-up from Ryan Hall, y'all. I don't know what that means. I'm always scared when I see that. I don't know if it's our area or somewhere else, but I have been watching. I haven't looked at it this morning, but I have been watching the forecast, and we're supposed to have some cooler weather. We have a cold front pushing down. In some of the northeastern states are having, I saw they had the blue color on them, so they're supposed to be getting like some pretty frigid temps, which if any of them visited the South, I'm sure they don't mind it at all. But anyway, I squirreled there. So I just have all of these sewn. I'm going to go on and press them because they have to be pressed in order for us to assemble the rows. So what I'm going to do is just trim apart and then press, and I will be right back. Now on to assembling the technical block. I am also going to be doing chain stitching. I'm going to do the first. I'm going to make, I think, 2 of these. So I'll do 1, 2, 3. And this one here is going to have this block on it, this direction. I am going to pin this because this is a nested seam, and I always try to keep those nested seams together. Now, right here, these seams, they don't nest, but I do want them to butt up to one another right. So what I do is I find that seam and I just put a pin in that seam. Now that's going to make that a little difficult because that's right at the very first couple stitches, but I'm just going to go with it, and I just stitched right over that pin. I watch my needle because sometimes it won't stitch right over it, and it'll come down right on that pin. So this is the second row. Well, did y'all just see all of that there? Did you hear the knock and see the look of confusion on my face? Nobody was supposed to be in my house, but as it happened, my daughter knows where my hide key is. She had been calling me because she needed to go get my grandson, her baby, because the daycare had called and he had been crying and completely not consolable, and I just used the wrong row of fabric. That is okay, because I got to do that same one on the next block too. So, and I'm going to go on and get to my next block as well. But she had called and left messages, and I was apparently pressing at that moment. So she came over here and she told me that, now I'm hearing stuff again. Who knows what's going on out there. My grandson had been crying at daycare. And our babysitter, it's a babysitter. She has a private sitter that she takes him to. But my grandson had been crying, and she said he wouldn't nap and he hadn't eaten anything, and I think his schedule got messed up really bad. So she needed to go pick him up, and of course her car is not available at the moment. And then she told me, she said, in the car lot says they have me a loaner. I just need you to take me up there. And I was like, okay. She needed to go get her baby first. And that's what I told her. We'll go get him first to settle him down. Because if he's feeling bad, he needs his mama, you know. So we headed over there. And of course, when we go to get the baby from daycare or babysitter, he comes right up to me and wants me to pick him up. And of course, y'all know that makes the grandma's heart happy. It does. Let me see if I got two. I think I just did something wrong. Let me see what I did. What I've got to do is lay my pieces out per block. And okay, first row, second row, third row. Okay, yeah, I put a set together that didn't need to be put together. So this is the first row, and this is the one I did that I didn't need to do. And guys, if I don't ever break out my seam ripper, I hadn't sewn for the day, because this thing comes out quite frequently. But anyway, telling you about what happened, it's after 5 o'clock. And I just put a little notice up as soon as I got in my house that there was going to be no video today. And I'm going to bring this to y'all on our Saturday sew-along. So hopefully, if you have your fat quarter shop box and your flowering pattern, maybe you're sewing along with me. I had really hoped to get some other things done today. It is Friday after 5 p.m. now. And guys, some days you just do what you gotta do, and just things will fall into place eventually. They may not be the place you want them to fall into, but they do fall into place. Okay, so this is not the one I need to be working now. This is the one I need to be working now. So I've got my first row done, and this is going to be my second row. But when we picked that baby up, I had to take my daughter to like 45 minutes away from my house for her to get her rental / loaner car from the dealership. And when we got there, her car was actually ready, which was good, because that way she didn't have to have a loaner. It was a quick, easy fix. I mean, it was just a motor mount was broke or fell out or whatever they do. And they got it fixed for her, so now she's back in her car. But I can imagine that is quite scary. I don't like it when if my vehicle ever messes up, I just tell my husband. Because I don't like that. I get scared of a vehicle when they start doing things like that. So what I'm going to do after I get these first pieces put on the first, second, and third row, I am going to take them off, and I'm not going to press them. I'm just going to trim them apart. And this is first, second, and third row. And what we'll do is we will start adding the piece that goes to the end of it. So this is first, second, and third row. First, second, and third. Wait, we got to make 4 of these, or 2 of each. So I'm not done. I could have kept that other one instead of taking it apart. How about that? So we've got those, and then we got these. Okay. So here we go again. But now we are home, and I'm hoping it is for the evening. I don't want to go back out again. I was actually in the middle of recording for y'all, as you could tell earlier when she came over. Bless her heart. She's just had a rough go. She's sick today, of all things, and having all this happen today. Life is not fair, but I'm telling you, it threw her some curveballs today. But hopefully the rest of the day will go good. My grandbaby, it was so funny when we were going to pick her car up. her fiance called and FaceTimed, and my grandson saw his daddy on the phone. He's like, "Daddy." He sounded so pathetic, so pitiful. Like, oh, he was so sick and he wanted his daddy's pity. He's something else, I'm telling you. It was so funny. Is separate these. I don't know why I did not realize that. And I'm going to keep them in color order and row order. Okay, so for row 1, I'm going to put another solid on this end. Okay, I'm telling y'all about what happened with my daughter because I've been trying to do this since 9 o'clock this morning when it all started going down. She needed me to come get her and her groceries. So I've been trying to do this since 9 a.m. and it has not worked very well. But some days you just have days like that, and you know, she needed me today. She was sick and having to deal with all of this with her car and her baby. We had to go pick the baby up because he'd been crying and wasn't, her babysitter said he had not eaten anything since she brought him in this morning. And all he had eaten on the, you know, before they got there was half a piece of sausage, she said. Well, I think his schedule just got messed up because his mama took him to daycare late and then fed him a piece of sausage on the way to daycare. And, you know, sometimes you just can't do that to babies. Oh, I don't need that one. I need this one. But just in case, you know, he wasn't feeling well, she went ahead and grabbed him, you know, so he could go home. And then the whole process of all of that, the car place called and her car was ready, or she could go get a loaner, you know, for the weekend. So guys, there's actually going to be 3 segments of this video. This will be the 3rd video I've recorded for this block. But that's just because life has happened. I had to record in 3 separate blocks. The first one, I stopped the video because I realized it was taking me 20 minutes per color to press it, trim it, cut, press, and trim the block down. So I cut it then. And then when I came back after doing all of that, well, because we were doing the car thing before I started recording. I was cutting fabric the first time when she came. But we are working the Fat Quarter Shop Sew Sampler Flowering Quilt Along quilt block right now. That is what we are doing. We're trying to finish it up today. I was beginning to wonder if I wasn't going to have to put it off until tomorrow. Now, the video you won't see until Saturday now. I planned on having this out to you guys Friday evening. It's not happening because it is after 5 o'clock already, and I'm still not done with the block, but that's okay. I wouldn't have traded it for the world because I got to be with my grandbaby, and we had dinner together because we were in a completely different town trying to get her car. But that is what we did. That's what we had to do. And I don't get too many moments of being able to have dinner with my grandbaby like that, because we all work. I mean, now granted, I do call her sometimes during the week and I'm like, hey, let's just go eat dinner or something. Because I know she's just got off work. She's tired. She don't want to cook. I don't want to cook. Although I should be cooking. So now we are on our second color. We're just about to finish up the first square for the block. So guys, I hope your weekend has started off beautiful. So far it's actually really nice right now. It's not real cold, it's not hot, it's breezy. You know, it's just the kind of weather you really like, that's kind of telling you, hey, fall is just about here. I'm so ready for it. I need to go out. Maybe if it's when the sun goes down a little more and it's not so hot, I can go pull everything out of my garden. But I have been noticing I am having issues walking again. And, you know, we knew that the knee surgery I had was not going to be a fix-it-all. All it was going to do, just get the arthritis out of the way and clean up that joint. But that does not fix that I'm bone on bone. And I've really been having trouble with now my hip joint along with my knee. I'm having a lot of trouble trying to walk distances because my hip just hurts so bad. And I mean, my leg is shorter on the side that I had knee surgery on. It is shorter by about 1/2 inch. And that's what the orthopedic even told me. He's like, it's shorter than the other one, which is going to cause me to be, you know, off balance, off centered or whatever. But, you know, it's one of those situations. It is what it is. And, you know, I can either live with it or complain about it. And neither one of, you know, living with it's all I can do. Nothing's going to make it better. So, let's see, we're all lined up there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, once I get this off my machine, I am going to trim them apart, press them, and once I press them, then we'll come back and we will sew the 3 rows together to make well, we're going to be making 4 blocks that we will then sew together and make 1 large block. So one moment and we will be right back. We are back and now we are assembling each of the blocks so we can make it into a large block. So what I am going to do is just go on and just pick up this particular flowering quilt along. Has taken me a little longer, even if I wasn't disturbed multiple times, because this is half square triangles and you do need to check your half square triangles to make sure that they are nesting correctly, you know, that all of your blocks are correct. I did not nest this seam down here and I need to go in and do that and get a pin in it. But what I'm going to do is just go ahead and get the first row added on to all 4 blocks. And then we will add the 3rd row, just kind of like we did. So what I'm going to do is take my 3rd piece and lay it to the side. And you make sure you're putting your pieces on the correct direction, because this has to, the top one goes this way and the bottom one goes this way. So we want to make sure that we have the triangles going in the correct direction. Wouldn't that be awful after how long it has taken today to get this together? Oh, and these are going the same direction. So that must be the bottom one. Now this is one of the drawbacks when working with half square triangles, is it takes a lot to do half square triangles, because you do need to trim. Make sure your blocks are the exact size they need to be, because if they're not, your points don't work out quite well, you know, or how they should. Now, as much as I have done to these blocks to make sure they come out right, some of them still are not like point on point like they should be. But I'm not worried about that. I really am not worried about that, because it just doesn't matter. You know, it just really doesn't matter to me, because I'm doing this so along showing that you can smash your stash. Well, if you have a stash like mine, you can smash your stash, because I have a pretty massive stash. Now, I don't have like a lot of yardage, but I do have a lot of fat quarters and, well, most of them are fat quarters, not necessarily fat quarter bundles, but like loose fat quarters. I got a lot of loose fat quarters at the Shop Hop this year. And in Sweet Daisy Quilt Shop, they send you a little piece of fabric, and if you order, you get, a lot of times you'll get, it's not even a fat 1/8, it's like a fat 16th. You know, so but you still get that, so that's great that you can use that. I don't need that piece. And y'all, I only tell y'all the times just if y'all ever want to use it as a reference of how long it's taken me. The pressing and all that was like an hour, and I stopped that video at like 50 minutes. So I had another 30 minutes that I didn't put in recording time. So we're going to see how this works tonight, because I'm going to have roughly 2 hours, maybe longer recording time. But what I'm going to try to do is, oops, not hit that pin, but I did. Try to edit one section at a time and export it back to my phone. Yeah, I'm going to have to change that needle, because I just heard it made a clicking sound when it went down. We're going to try to hold out till this block is done. Yep. The thread just broke, so that means I got to change a needle also, so hang on, you guys. That didn't take but just a couple of seconds to do there. And thank goodness it was right there at the last stitch. Once I get the third row put on these blocks, we will then join all of them together into a 4-patch block. That's what I'm going to call it. It may not be what it's called, but that is what I'm calling it, because you're going to have 4 of these blocks on it, so it looks like a 4-patch. Guys, I'm getting in the zone here. I'm getting in the zone. It's hard once you get in the zone to keep talking. I zone out. I just do. I zone out, because I am, like I said, in the zone. I am getting this sewn together. And these blocks are actually turning out, or these squares. Maybe I should call these squares. Oh, y'all probably hear I got a kitty cat at my door meowing at me now. He has not wanted outside all day, and now he's decided he wants outside. I hear you. So what he's got to do now is wait until I'm done. But that is okay. We still getting it done. That's all that matters. We still getting it done. Even though today has been a struggle, this is a lesson learned today. Even through all the struggles, you can always come back to it and get it done. Maybe that's my lesson for that. Oh, I can't think of what it's called. Pretty Poinsettia. The online shop hop that I did. Maybe I had that lesson today, so I can get that done. But that one has not been hit this month, and I'm thinking that may be my next one, that the next time I do a Whip It month, my whips and UFOs, I think next time I have that, hopefully I will have these other ones done and out of the way. I was thinking maybe I should just keep on sewing tonight and have a sewing night, but honestly, I'm kind of tired today after all the running we had to do. I am tired. And my husband is coming in tomorrow, so I do need to do a little bit of house cleaning. I may try running my dishwasher again and see if I can get it to work. I'm thinking it's not wanting to work, so I'm just going to have to save up my money and get me a new dishwasher. Okay, so these are all done. So now what I will do is take them apart and press them out. So I will be right back. We are back with both of our blocks completed. So now it is block assembly. And we are going to see how we can do this, because I am going to try to find a side that nests all the seams. And y'all, I'm sorry if you can hear my cat outside. She is outside my sewing room. Or it's a he. And he is throwing a fit because I won't let him outside yet. Although I tried to get him to go outside this morning when I got up, and he wanted to sleep. And then when I got back from helping my daughter, carrying her home, and I tried to let him out then, and he wanted no part of that. So I checked thinking, well, maybe their food bowl was, slim. They only have to see the bottom of the bowl to start, having panic attacks over not having food. I tried to let him out then, and then when my daughter came back over, and when I just came back in around 4:45, 4:30, I tried getting him to go out then. He was not interested, but he's always interested in the middle of my sewing time. So he can just wait until I get done. It's not gonna hurt him. It's like he's middle-aged melodramatic here. He is something else. Now, he was an abandoned kitten when I got him, or a lost kitten. We've got more of them at the office now. I got him from under our ice maker at work. We have a shop out back that has an ice maker, and the guys kept seeing him. They told me he was under there, so I went the next day. I brought my trap, and I set the food up. And then, for that night, I left it there for that night. And the next morning when I came in, I had him. And I've had him ever since. After I got him, I took him like that weekend to the vet, or that Friday, I took him to the vet because it looked like he had a tooth that got injured. No, it wasn't damaged. It looked like he fell out of something and hit his mouth, and the tooth was trying to fall out. So I took him to the vet to make sure that was all okay. And the vet said he was in good shape, that he just had a little accident there, and so we fixed him up and brought him home, and here we are a couple years later now. So now we have our 2 sets of blocks here. And yeah, they alternate. So I am going to press these open, and then we'll attach them together. We are back with both sets of rows. And guys, I was telling y'all, I thought I was going to have a big sewing day today. Or I thought I was going to get a lot more done today than I did. But, you know, like I said, I wouldn't trade anything for the time I get to spend with my grandbabies. And I'll be headed north next weekend, so I've got to get a few up for that, for sure. Now, I do know I need to check on that one because when I looked at the pictures of the Airbnb online, the beds do not have sheets on them. And that's just kind of gross to me, to not have sheets on the bed. So what I may do is just carry, of course I'll carry a quilt and my pillow, but I may carry like just a cooling sheet to put on the bottom of the to put on top of the mattress, just in case. We don't know what the weather's going to be like up there. We're hoping not hot. The South in September, close to September, is pretty warm around here. In the South, September is still summer. It's just extended summer. How we have false spring, we have false fall. And I know a lot of people get really excited about having spring weather. I guess they don't realize after spring comes summer. And all 104 degrees of you know what. It is hot, hot, hot. But I am not quite sure how that weekend is going to go. I was talking to my daughter about her dad going because I thought she was riding with me. So I'm not real sure how that's going to go. But guys, not a lot of chit-chatting about sewing going on, but a lot of chit-chatting about life. We all have those days. And I hope, if you have someone to talk to, if you ever have one of those days and just need to chit-chat and all the things, let me make sure, yes, this is what it looks like. Got that done. That's so pretty. I love these colors. I am really loving these flowering blocks, guys. So I want to thank you for showing up, being here, being you. Give me a thumbs up before you roll out of here. If you have not yet subscribed, please do. Feel free to leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Bye, guys.